Welcome to my channel. Let me ask you something. What if one small habit, just one, could quietly change the way you speak English? Not a course, not a teacher, just something you do by yourself every single day. In this video, I'll show you the one daily habit that made my English grow and how it can change your English too. So stay with me. The secret is simple, but it's hidden in your day. Let's begin. Chapter 1. A quiet beginning with big results. This didn't start with a big plan. It started with 5 words. That's all. 5 simple words that didn't sound important at the time. I am brushing my teeth. I said it softly. No audience, no teacher. Just me, my reflection, and a toothbrush. I didn't even know what I was doing, but I said it anyway. Then I added another. The water is cold. 2 sentences. That was my beginning. Not a big step, but it was mine. Every morning after that, I started saying one sentence about what I was doing. I didn't try to make it perfect. I didn't try to sound fluent. I just said what was real. I wash my face. I dry my hands. I look in the mirror. These words matched my actions, and something strange happened. They didn't feel like school. They felt like part of my life. I wasn't trying to learn grammar. I was just trying to live in English. The first few days felt odd. I laughed at myself. Who talks to themselves while brushing teeth? But after a week, I didn't laugh anymore. I spoke, naturally. Not all the time, but enough. These small moments became part of me. And the best part? I didn't feel nervous. No one was watching. I didn't worry about mistakes. I just spoke. I didn't open a book. I didn't study a lesson. I just made English part of my morning. And I began to look forward to it. The toothpaste, the water, the towel, all became tools for speaking. It didn't matter how simple the words were. I said them. This towel is soft. My eyes look tired. Today is a busy day. One sentence, then another, and another. Soon, I wasn't thinking in my native language first. I wasn't translating. I was speaking directly in English, even if it was just a little. I remember one morning clearly. I finished brushing my teeth and realized I had already spoken 20 sentences, without planning. I sat on my bed and smiled. That was the first time I felt real pride. I wasn't just repeating someone else's words. I was making my own. This daily habit gave me something powerful. It gave me trust in my voice. I didn't wait for the right moment. I created the moment. In the quiet of the morning, English became my friend. And it wasn't about speaking fast or speaking fancy. It was about speaking at all. Every time I said one small sentence, I was building a new path in my mind. A little trail. A whisper that slowly turned into a voice. Some days I felt tired. Some days I didn't want to say anything. But I pushed myself to speak just one sentence. That was my rule. One sentence, no matter what. And often, once I said one, the second came easier. Then the third. Then I was flowing again. I remember saying, I feel sleepy, but I want to grow. That sentence surprised me. It came from somewhere honest, and I thought, wow, this is me now. I'm thinking in English, even just a little. But that little felt big. This is what I want you to know. Your beginning doesn't have to be loud. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be yours. One small activity, one small voice, done every day. That's where the power lives. That's where real change begins. Chapter 2: The Power of One Simple Rule. After a few days of speaking English quietly in the morning, I realized something. I needed a little structure, not a schedule, not a long plan, just one simple rule. So I made one. I said to myself, before doing anything, speak one sentence in English, out loud. That was it. One sentence. Before I stood up, before I left a room, before I picked up a glass of water, just one sentence, every time. That became my rule, and that rule changed everything. At first, it felt like a game. Before I opened the door, I had to say something. I opened the door. Before I sat down, I said, I sit on the chair. Before I started eating, I said, I eat my lunch. These sentences were not special. They were not complex. But they were mine. They were tied to action. And because of that, they stuck. I didn't wait for a perfect time to speak. I didn't say, let me do it later when I have energy. I didn't say, let me learn vocabulary first. I just followed the rule. One sentence before each small thing. And soon, my whole day was full of little sentences. I wash my hands. I take a spoon. I write in my notebook. These moments used to be silent. Now they had words. And you know what happened? I started to look forward to it. Every time I spoke a sentence, I felt like I had won a small prize, a tiny victory. No one gave me a gold star, but I gave myself something better, confidence. I didn't care if my sentence was perfect. I didn't care if it had a grammar mistake. I just said it. And every time, I felt a little stronger. There was one day I remember clearly. I was rushing in the morning. I brushed my teeth quickly. I picked up my towel. I walked to the kitchen. And then I stopped. Something felt off. Something was missing. Then it hit me. I hadn't spoken a sentence, not even one. I stood still. I missed it. I actually missed the habit. I smiled and whispered. I walked to the kitchen. That's when I knew this was real. This rule wasn't just a trick anymore. It was part of me. That's the power of a habit. When it's missing, you feel it. When you forget it, you want it back. That's when you know it's working. And this one rule, just one sentence before anything, gave me so many little chances to grow. All day long. Before I washed dishes, I washed the plate. Before I turned off the light, I turn off the light. Before I opened my book, I read now. And guess what? These small moments made me braver. I wasn't waiting for someone to talk to me in English. I wasn't waiting for a perfect speaking partner. I was becoming my own partner. I was becoming my own practice space. And because I did it often, I started saying things without thinking too much. Not because I memorized them, but because they were real. They came from my life, my spoon, my door, my towel, my day. And I felt good. I felt like I was not studying English. I was living it. So if you ask me, what helped you most? I will say this. One rule. Speak one sentence in English before doing anything. That's it. Not 10, not 5, just one. You don't need to be fluent. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to speak. That small rule became my anchor, my guide, my friend. And slowly, sentence by sentence, it changed me. Not in one day, but over many days. Quietly, naturally, gently, but deeply. And it all began with one idea. Speak one sentence. Before anything. Speak your day into English. Chapter 3. Turning boring moments into English time. There are so many moments in a day when we do nothing. We wait for the water to boil. We wait in line. We wait for our phone to charge. We wait for someone to call. We brush our hair. We sit quietly. We stare out the window. These little spaces used to feel empty to me. Just dead time. But now I call them something else. I call them stolen minutes. These are my hidden chances to practice English, without anyone noticing, without any stress. I started speaking during these tiny pauses, just one line, nothing dramatic. While waiting for my tea to boil, I whispered, "This tea smells good." While brushing my hair, I said, "My hair is messy today." When I yawned, I said, "I feel sleepy." These were small sentences, almost like thoughts, but I said them out loud. Not loudly, just enough to hear myself. And something beautiful happened. These little stolen minutes became my secret English gym. I didn't need paper. I didn't need internet. I didn't even need time. I just needed a moment, a second, a breath. And in that small space, I planted English, and every time it grew a little. I remember once standing in the kitchen, waiting for the toast to pop up. Normally, I would scroll through my phone or just stand blankly. But that day, I spoke to myself. I said, "I am hungry. The toast smells good. I want to eat now." 3 small sentences, but they felt real. They felt mine. And when the toast popped up, I smiled, not just because it was ready, but because I had used that waiting time to speak. Sometimes I did this at the sink, washing dishes. This plate is slippery. I like this cup. The water is warm. Just little things. Observations. Not textbook lines. Just what was happening around me. The more I did this, the more normal it became. It wasn't practice anymore. It was life. Life in English. One time I was waiting for someone in a park. I was sitting on a bench. I looked around and started speaking quietly to myself. The sky is gray. The children are playing. I hear birds. I didn't think anyone could hear me. But then a man sitting near me looked over and smiled. He didn't laugh. He didn't stare. He just smiled. That moment stayed with me, because I realized I wasn't shy anymore. I didn't feel embarrassed. I felt proud. Before, I would have been afraid someone might think I'm strange for talking to myself, but now I saw it differently. I was not talking to myself. I was talking for myself, for my growth, for my learning, for my courage, and that changed everything. My favorite stolen minutes were in the evening, right before bed. I would sit quietly and think about the day. Then I would say 1 or 2 sentences. Today was slow, I felt tired, but I spoke some English. That small review gave me peace. It made me feel like I was moving, even slowly, toward something good. Over time, I found more places to use these minutes. While folding clothes. This shirt is blue. It smells fresh. While feeding the cat. She is hungry. She likes fish. Even while tying my shoes. I tie my shoes. I am going out. These sentences may sound silly, but they are gold. Every sentence you speak makes your voice stronger, and the more you speak, the more fluent you feel. The truth is, we all have stolen minutes. We just don't notice them. But once you do, they become powerful. These small, quiet times are not empty. They are full of chances, full of practice, full of growth. You just have to use them. And the best part? No one has to give you permission. You don't need a class. You don't need a partner. You just need yourself, your voice, your eyes, your thoughts, and a few quiet seconds. That's how I turned my boring moments into English time. Not by changing my day, but by changing my way of seeing, my way of speaking. And slowly, this habit made me more confident, not just in English, but in myself. I found power in silence. I found progress in the pause. And I found that a simple line like, "This tea smells good," can carry more magic than we think. Chapter 4. A Journal Without a Pen. Every night before I sleep, I do something small, but powerful. I lie down, close my eyes, and speak a few English sentences about my day. I don't open a notebook. I don't hold a pen. I don't write a single word. I just talk, softly, calmly, to myself. This is my journal. A journal without a pen. It started as a way to end the day with English. I thought, if I can begin my morning in English, why not end it in English too? But I didn't want it to feel like homework. So I made it easy. I simply talked about what I did that day, one sentence at a time. I woke up late. I made breakfast. I studied for 1 hour. I watched a video. Simple facts, just the truth of my day. At first, I had to think hard. I translated from my native language. I paused often. I searched for words. I said things slowly, but I kept going. Every night, just 3 or 4 lines. No grammar rules, no big vocabulary, just my day in English. It became my bedtime routine, just like brushing my teeth. It felt soft and natural. I didn't pressure myself. I didn't care if the sentence was perfect. I cared only that I spoke it. Some nights I was too tired, but even then, I whispered just one line. Today was long. That was enough. Even one sentence was a win. Soon, I started remembering more from my day. Not because I was trying, but because I was speaking it out loud. I would say, I walked in the park. Then suddenly, I would remember more. I saw a dog. It was brown. It barked at a child. The words came, slowly but surely. One sentence opened the door for the next. And then, something beautiful happened. One night, I was reviewing my day, and I realized I wasn't translating anymore. The sentences came straight in English. I didn't stop to think in my first language. I didn't look for words. They just arrived, softly, gently, like a whisper, and that whisper was in English. I smiled. That moment was magic. I felt like I was living in English now, not just learning it, because when English becomes the language of your memories, the language of your private moments, it stops being foreign. It becomes part of you. This habit also helped my confidence. In the day when someone asked, "What did you do today?" I had the words ready. I had already said them to myself. So I didn't freeze. I didn't panic. I just replied, "I studied. I made lunch. I took a walk." The practice from my nighttime journal became useful in real conversations. It trained my fluency. It trained my memory. And it trained my voice. All without a classroom. All without a pen. Just me, my thoughts, and a quiet corner before sleep. Sometimes I said my journal while walking home. Sometimes while washing dishes. Sometimes while lying in bed. It didn't matter where I was. It just mattered that I did it. And each time I did, I felt more sure of myself, more present in the language, more aware of my own progress. That's the secret of a spoken journal. It makes you feel alive in English, not just a learner, but a person living a real day in English words. So if you ever feel stuck or silent, try this. At the end of your day, say what you did. Just say it. Don't write, don't correct, don't stress, just speak. One line, then two, then three. You'll see how much you remember. You'll see how the words begin to stick. And one day you'll notice what I did, that the English is no longer outside you. It's inside. It's coming from you. Chapter 5. From Private Practice to Real Conversations. For a long time, I was just speaking to myself. In the morning, during quiet moments, at night, before sleep. No one heard me. No one responded. It was just me and my English habit. But slowly, without me even planning it, that habit started to leave the quiet and step into the real world. One day, I was at a small shop. I wanted to buy a notebook. The shopkeeper smiled and asked, "Do you need help?" And before I could think or worry, I said, "Yes, I need a notebook." Just like that. No fear. No delay. The words came out fast, like they had been waiting. The shopkeeper pointed to the shelf and I said, "Thank you, I like this one." The conversation was short, but to me it was huge. I walked out of the shop with a notebook in my hand and a smile on my face. Not because I bought something, but because I said something. I didn't freeze. I didn't go silent. I spoke. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. That was the moment I realized something big. I can actually speak. All those small sentences I had practiced at home were now coming out in real life. The ones I had said to the mirror, the ones I had whispered while brushing my teeth, the ones I had used while making tea. They didn't stay locked inside me. They came with me into the world. Now, when someone asks me, "Do you like it?" I say, "Yes, I like it." When someone says, "Are you free today?" I say, "No, not today." When someone asks, "What do you think?" I say, "I think it's good." These are not lines from a book. These are not memorized dialogues. These are my phrases, my sentences, built from my daily habit. Because I've said them so many times during the day, while cooking, walking, folding clothes, they are now a part of me. They are ready when I need them. They come without fear. I remember another day. I was with a friend who speaks English well. She asked me, "Do you want to sit here?" And again, I answered without thinking, "Yes, I'm tired. Let's sit." My voice was clear. My face was relaxed. I didn't feel like a student. I felt like a person just talking. That feeling is hard to explain. It's not about sounding smart. It's not about using big words. It's about saying what you feel in English without fear. That's the real win. And here's what surprised me. I didn't need a long lesson to get here. I didn't need a big grammar book. I just needed one thing, my daily habit. Speaking out loud, alone, every day. Again and again, quietly, calmly, naturally. That habit gave me my voice. That habit trained my mouth to move. That habit trained my brain to trust English. And when the real world called, I could answer. Not perfectly, but clearly. Not fast, but smoothly. Not like a student, but like a human. Now, I find myself smiling during conversations. I understand more, I say more, and I worry less. That's not a miracle. That's the result of small work, done every day, in the kitchen, in the bathroom, in the mirror, on the bed. Those places became my classroom, and now the world feels less scary. So if you've been speaking only to yourself, keep going. You may not notice it yet, but something is growing. Something strong, something honest. One day, your quiet practice will become a real conversation. And when that happens, you'll feel it too. That quiet joy that says, I can actually speak. Chapter 6. The Habit That Keeps on Giving. When I look back, I don't remember any big moment that made my English suddenly better. There was no flash of magic. No one gave me a secret method. I didn't have fancy tools or perfect plans. What I had was a habit. One small, simple habit. I spoke English every day, sometimes just one sentence, sometimes 5, sometimes more, but always something, always spoken, always alive. And that habit didn't stop. It became part of my life, just like brushing my teeth, just like drinking tea. I don't need to remind myself anymore. I just do it. I speak to the morning. I speak to my shoes. I speak to the air. I don't think twice. It's not something I have to do now. It's something I get to do. This one habit gave me more than just English. It gave me peace. It gave me confidence. It gave me something to be proud of. I didn't feel like a beginner anymore. I felt like someone on a journey, someone building something strong and real. And the best part? I was doing it on my own. I used to think I had to learn everything fast, that I had to study hard, memorize more, finish lessons quickly. But this habit taught me something else. Growth doesn't come from pressure. It comes from patience. You don't need to do more. You just need to do one small thing, again and again. And with each small step, something else changed. Me. I didn't just learn English. I became more focused, more open. I became the kind of person who doesn't give up easily, who keeps going, even on quiet days, even on hard days. That surprised me. I didn't expect that. But it happened. There was a moment when I realized how far I'd come. I was walking home one evening, and I saw the sunset. I whispered, "The sky looks beautiful tonight." It was just a sentence, but it came so naturally, so easily, so honestly. That was when I felt it, not just in my head, but in my heart. This habit didn't just change my English, it changed me. I fell in love with English, not because I was perfect, but because it became part of my world. I didn't learn it like a subject. I lived it like a friend, a quiet friend who stays with me through every part of my day. And the truth is, this habit still gives, every day, even now. When I feel tired, I still speak. When I feel nervous, I still speak. And every time I do, I remind myself, this is how it all began. One sentence, just one, spoken with courage, spoken with care. So if you ever feel lost or stuck or too far behind, remember this. You don't have to do everything. You just have to do something. Something small, something simple, something true. Speak one sentence a day. That's it. That's how the change begins. That's how it keeps growing. It's not about learning faster, it's about learning deeper. And every word you speak plants a seed. Every sentence waters it. And one day, without even knowing it, you'll look around and see you're not just speaking English, you're living in it. And more than that, you've become someone new, someone more confident, someone more open, someone who made it happen, one day at a time. That's what this habit gave me, and it keeps on giving every single day. Now you know my secret. One daily habit, one sentence at a time. It's not magic. It's not a shortcut. But it's powerful. And it works. If this video gave you a new idea, or made you feel like English is possible, then please give it a like. Subscribe to my channel for more simple, real English tips like this. And I'd love to hear from you. What's your daily habit? Comment below. Let's learn together, one day at a time.